I'm not sure why I'm posting here, maybe for advice or just reassurance that I'm not crazy. I've been married for a year and some months now. A month before our wedding, my husband went to a glory hole. I came home one night and found him crying in the bathroom. He told me immediately and said he would understand if I left. At first I thought he was joking or that it was some kind of test, but it wasn't. I endured the humiliation of driving him to have an STI panel done. He didn't have a car at the time. I remember sitting in the waiting room trying to be as small as possible. The nurses were in an enclosed glass area checking people in. After he went back, one of the nurses gestured towards me and said, "Does she need checked in?" Another responded, "No, the guy that just went back, that's his wife or girlfriend or whatever." I almost felt worse in that moment than when he broke the news. His panel came back negative. I call off the wedding but change my mind. He reassures me that it wasn't my fault and that it had nothing to do with me. He was just being horny and stupid, that I shouldn't internalize this as a self-esteem thing. I listen and try to let it sink in. I believe that he is genuinely sorry and doubt he would do it again, but am unable to not let it be self-esteem thing. Shit, it's been so long but it still pops into my head. I've been trying to feel better about myself for years. But it's like all my progress was erased. I can't let myself feel too good because the thought will come. How can you be attractive when your husband cheated on you? I thought because I didn't feel anything on D-Day or the weeks after that it wasn't a big deal and I'd moved on. I guess that's not the case because my insecurities are still worse than ever. I almost cried at Target after trying on a swimsuit last week, and it's impacting my ability to trust him when he's with his friends. I try to relax and not be clingy, but it's challenging because I know I'm not enough. There's been no infidelity since then. Weirdly enough, I don't really think about it when we're together. When we're eating dinner, laughing, watching TV or cuddling or making love, it's the furthest thing from my mind. But when I'm alone, when I have the apartment to myself or during long quiet times at work, it creeps up on me. I feel stupid for feeling bad for hours at a time when nothing has changed around me. It's just my negative thoughts. Wedding season is also starting, and it's stirring up a lot of feelings I've tried to let go of. Shame that I couldn't keep it together a month before ours, and embarrassment about the wedding itself, for reasons unrelated to the cheating. Some of my friends are getting married soon and they're asking me for advice. Pretending that I'm super happy with how our wedding went is painful. I am tired of reliving the negativity of that whole time period. I've seen some estimated that it takes 5 to 10 years or more, or never, to fully recover. That's a frightening idea because I feel like I should be over it already. I don't have another woman to be mad at. It was the most impersonal way he could have done it. He did everything right after. I am worried that I'm fixating on it and driving myself nuts over nothing. Is it reasonable to still have negative thoughts? Can a person ever return to normal after this? Top 5 comments. 1. My boyfriend cheated on me as well, by requesting and receiving nudes and sexting random women. Some would argue that it isn't the worst kind of cheating, but it doesn't matter what others think of it. The reason this hurts you more when alone could be 1. You have more time to reflect and linger on these unpleasant thoughts, and 2. Maybe you don't entirely trust him or you're anxious and thereby replaying scenarios in which he's cheating. What really helped me get over it was to share the event and my feelings with others. I talked to some of my friends about it who were very supportive and didn't judge me for staying, but the most helpful thing was to talk to a therapist. She gave me many tools for communication and understanding myself better. I'd highly suggest doing this if you haven't done so already. Remember, you're entitled to your emotions. Time is not a reason to be okay. You're allowed to feel bad still, and seeking a therapist's help is completely justified. 2. A little over a year ago, my wife had an EA. I decided to stay and for us to work on our marriage. I can definitely understand it creeping up on you. The same thing happens to me. When we're together, I don't think about it, only at times we're apart. What helps me is challenging those thoughts. Anytime you start Having those thoughts that you're not good enough or just feel the weight of what happened. Stop and think about the positives in your relationship, the things that only you and your partner have together. I'm not going to tell you that it works every time or that it's easy, especially at first. But given time, it could make it a little easier for you. It has helped me many times when I was in a dark place mentally. Also talk to him about it, let him know how you feel when it happens. Don't hold anything back, that only makes it worse later. I learned that the hard way. I hope that this helps you. 3. He went to a glory hole? I'm sure there was a dude on the other side of it. Is your husband gay? 4. Totally had to Google glory hole. I guess I live a sheltered life, haha. Thankfully he did not get a disease, holy crap. 5. He'll never understand why people go get checked out for STDs immediately after they were exposed. They will all be negative, assuming that was the one-time exposure. My wife, 37F, got a new job 4.5 months ago. She also made some new friends. I, 36M, didn't really like them. They were all hardcore feminists, professional victim, SJW types. They are women who will yell at you for opening the door for them. Or not opening the door for them. You can't win either way. In the beginning I sort of laughed it off, but during the last 2 months I noticed some disturbing changes in my wife. We have been married for 11 years and have 2 kids, 10F and 8M. It got worse and worse. She would accuse me of all kinds of nonsense, like I was born evil because men suppressed women historically? Say what? Whatever I did for her, things she would normally appreciate was all of a sudden reasons to have a fight. It was all nonsense. I would try to be patient. These arguments would usually end with me saying something like, "But I haven't done anything bad towards you? The only thing I am guilty of is loving you?" It would usually send her murmuring. Then the next day she would be back trying the same thing again, with slightly different arguments. Then about 5 weeks ago I got this sharp gut feeling that something was seriously wrong. She came back late at night without telling me she would be back late. I couldn't reach her phone. She was rather drunk and she acted distant and cold. The next day she would just be dismissive and tell me I was being controlling, that I read too much into things. This happened a few more times. I tried to snoop on her phone but didn't manage to find anything definite, but I suspected she had deleted a lot of her messages. I did find a thread with one of her new friends. They were discussing how she would approach me, asking me for an open relationship. I immediately knew what my instinct were telling me: she was cheating. In the thread my wife said she would talk to me about it, on what is now the second Monday of December. My kids are with their grandparents to celebrate Christmas. We were scheduled to both join them today. So anyway, she tries to start this conversation during breakfast, like it's just a thought out of the blue, to ask me what I think about an open relationship. Luckily I was prepared. I was already recording. I had been reading a lot here on Reddit and I knew there is really no way of saving this. My best possible outcome is to get out of this with some sliver of pride and self-esteem intact. From here on out it's all about protecting myself and the kids. I didn't scream or yell. I just went directly into jaw-clenched interrogation mode. She was all cocky up until this point, but that evaporated immediately when she saw the look on my face. Me, who is he? She, what do you mean? Tries to look innocent, like she doesn't understand. Me, if you want to have this conversation with me, don't treat me like an idiot, and at least you can be honest. If you can't be honest, what's the point of this conversation? She, what do you mean? Me, if you lie to me now, we cannot have the discussion you want to have about our relationship. I can tell that you are hiding something, it's obvious. So who is the guy you are fucking? She, I am not. Me, oh my god, it's more than one. She, Me, don't. Just don't fucking lie. You have just totally destroyed my trust in you. I can tell you are lying. Either you are honest and we talk this through, or I divorce you. Our marriage ends right now. No arguments, no discussion, no nothing. Just divorce, do you understand? She, but. Me, say it. Do you understand? Do you understand that, if you lie, I will divorce you? Say it, do you understand that I already know a lot? I can read you like a book. If I catch you lying, we are over. Tell me you understand. She, I understand. She proceeds to tell me about 2 one-night stands while out with her friends. I ask about their names, if they are married, if she wore protection, etc. They are both married men with kids. Then she tells me she is planning to sleep with a colleague at work, and that she intends to pursue this, since it's good for her and that I don't have any right to control her. What the F? I ask about the colleague as well and get his name. His wife name. He is married but according to her, in a open relationship like she wants us to be. She continues that she will set me up with some of her friends, one of them are really keen apparently. Question mark, what in the actual foo, K? I have seen this friend and I wouldn't touch her with a barge pole. I tell her I am not interested. I ask for her phone and she shows me the pattern to open it. While she went to the bathroom, I locked myself in my office. She freaks out, and while she was banging on the door, I ran recovery software on the phone for deleted content and ended up with lots of painful evidence. 30 minutes later, I also installed a spying app from an online service. When I came out, I gave her the phone and told her to leave. She argued a lot. I didn't really respond beyond single word responses. She didn't seem remorseful at all through all of this. She was yelling at me that I was acting controlling, holding her back like men always held women back, that I never loved her, that she had every right to do this, that she expected me to just accept this, that it wasn't a big deal, etc. I didn't argue back. I hardly said a word actually. I just packed her stuff while she circled yelling at me. I ended up at the front door where I just stood silently until she ran out of steam. In the end, she reluctantly went to her parents' house. On her way down the stair, I told her she was single now, so she could do whatever she wanted. I wasn't controlling her anymore. My lawyer would be in touch in January. When she turned to respond, I just slammed and locked the door. I later watched as she discussed it with her friends. They were telling her how strong she was, demanding what she was entitled to, how she deserved better than me. That it was empty threats from my side, that I wouldn't go through with it. You wanna bet? What really worried me was how they told her that if needed she could just accuse me of domestic abuse. One of them explained how she had screwed over her ex-husband and taken everything from him by accusing him of abuse. I have ordered cameras to put up at my house now. I know now I have to record everything. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. I have never ever threatened her in any way. Then she started messaging her AP to meet up. They agreed to meet at a hotel. I was absolutely stunned. I went online trying to find the AP's wife. It didn't take long. I got her to accept me as a friend on Facebook and I told her everything, including the ongoing activity at the hotel. She thanked me and hung up. A few hours later, I got a video from her. She went to the motel and confronted them. From the screaming, this wasn't the first time her husband had cheated. You effing asshole. You do this to me again? To the kids again? I told you we were over if you ever did this again. You #currency%currency. And she walked into the room and filmed my wife getting dressed on the edge of the bed. I threw up when I saw that the first time. The app's wife slapped her and cursed her out. I sent a message to my wife telling her that I saw the video from the hotel, and that I never want her near me ever again. It's like she sees our interaction as some sort of pissing competition, where she, in her mind, is winning. She's totally delusional. I can't understand any of it. It's like she isn't connected to reality. Like she doesn't really understand that we are divorcing. I logged on to my wife's family WhatsApp group and informed them that we are divorcing due to her infidelity. I thanked them for making me feel welcome and part of the family before disconnecting from the group. I have received a few calls and messages from her side, but I haven't read them or responded. I just don't have the energy for it. I called my parents and told them everything. My father messaged my wife that she wouldn't be welcome for Christmas. I'm at my parents' now and I have talked to my boss. He is giving me time off until mid-January to sort my things out. I have been monitoring my wife's increasingly frantic discussions with her new friends. I don't think it's dawned on my wife that she has lost her family, that her marriage is over, and that her new Friends in her AP don't really give a shit about her. She has sent me many messages and she showed up at my parents' house, demanding to be allowed to celebrate Christmas with us. My father threatened to call the police if she didn't leave. Now I am Googling divorce lawyers, crying my soul out. I think I have been in shock, but the pain has hit me hard since I got to my parents' house. I just can't make any sense of it. It just gives me so much pain to read their chats and interact with her. I have only responded twice to her messages. It doesn't matter what you say, I don't know who you are. You are not my wife would never destroy my heart and soul while smiling. We will get a divorce. I don't care what you say or what you want. You have no influence or right to demand anything from me ever again. We are over. Like I said, you are not my wife, I don't know you. My wife would never condemn our children to the pain and suffering of growing up in a broken home. You, whoever you are, seem to be proud of what you have done. My wife was loving, caring, considerate, my best friend. You are a self-obsessed, self-absorbed abomination. The messages stopped after the last one. The pain is absolutely unbearable at times. I wish this never happened. I wish I could get back with her like before, but I just can't do that to myself. This is the worst Christmas ever. I couldn't help myself, but I explained to the kids that mommy doesn't want to be a family anymore. She wants to be with other men and that we will get divorced. They are naturally distraught. Luckily, my mom and dad are here to help. They shower them with love and affection, while I am an absolute mess. I will try to get back on my feet for my kids' sake, but I am not going back to her ever. I wish I waited until after Christmas so I could get them straight into counseling. I don't know what happened. I just blurted it out when they asked about when their mother would come. I would never be able to look at myself in the mirror if I went back to her. The level of disrespect and callousness in her behavior is unforgivable. I am lost. I just don't get it. Why is it that she expects she can demand anything from me at this point? Is she mentally ill or something? Sorry about the incoherent rant, I just needed to get this out. Top 5 comments. 1. Your friends are angels. That part made me cry. Good people. All I got is I am rooting for you. 1. More thing. Sounds like your wife may be bipolar. Hypersexuality during mania is something that happens. She may be manic right now. 2. Good Lord, I wish you good luck, man. 3. Up. Kudos for getting a great support team. Your attorney is fantastic, and good on you for following her advice. I can't imagine what has happened to your wife, but that's not your problem now. I am interested in what happens to the guy who got screwed over. That's a little side thread, but it would be great to see justice done. ETA, I'm sure your lawyer told you this, but keep monitoring the phone chats. That may produce all kinds of intel for you in the court case. 4. As a woman who has been with my hubby for 32 years, take her to the cleaners. It breaks my heart that you and your babes are being treated this way. You and your kids deserve so much more. Kick her to the curb and don't look back. You are amazing and strong, hugging face. 5. The psycho is off to investigate penises instead of going to get an STD test. SMH. Up, make sure your lawyer also knows that she gave you the STD. Update. Wow, had no idea so many people were willing to help both on the post and in the inbox. It really helps too. No, we not alone. I did something I am not proud of. My wife has always been on my case to experience my true feelings and thoughts about her, no matter how ugly or cruel they may be. Not long my first post in the afternoon, as I prepared lunch for her like I always do, and just when I was about to leave her to her meal, she suddenly grabbed my hand and once again begged me to say something to her, anything, because it was killing her the way I've been treating her since our D-Day. At those words I just exploded. A lot came out of me. I told her that to me she was perfection, but since this happened she has become used in my eyes. I told her that the very sound of her voice used to make me want to give her the world, but now simply being around her makes me want to run and never look back. I told her that now she is like a dead weight around my neck that will never leave because it needs me to survive. I explained that. Through all this, she is still somehow the first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning and the last thing I think about when I go to sleep, but those thoughts are accompanied by a pain I never knew existed, and it makes absolutely miserable because somehow I still need her. I still want to hold her in my arms, but each time I touch her I have mental movies of her with another man. But what eats at me the most is the fact that she dragged our daughter into this. She put our baby girl in an impossible position and expected life to go on like nothing happened, I pointed out. Even despite her current circumstances, her relationship with our daughter has hardly changed, and that is the fruit of her actions. My wife just sobbed softly through it all, and at the end she simply said she deserved all that was coming her way. She said she tried her hardest to atone the disgusting decision she made during that time and has never stopped seeking forgiveness from our daughter. She explains that seeing me in this state makes her feel like a murderer, and she will do absolutely anything to help me heal and recover from this. She also added that she wanted me to know that even if I never forgive her and end up divorcing her, she has and always will love only me, that she doesn't regret our life and marriage because it is more than she could have ever asked for. Apparently she can hardly look herself in the mirror because of who was looking back at her, and she never wanted to be that person. I can see she clearly hates herself for what she did, but I am torn about all this. I never knew it was possible to absolutely love someone and hate them at the same time. I have decided to book therapy for me and my wife because I have a lot I want to say to her, but I'm afraid I'll go too far, so speaking in a controlled environment will be best. I also have this overwhelming urge to speak with the man she was involved with. It may be useless after many years, but I feel like I need to for my own sanity's sake. I want to know who is the man that had the audacity to actually come between a husband and his wife. I believe I will ask for his information during the therapy session. Once again, thank you all so much. Top 5 comments. 1. Not much to offer other than you'll find no peace seeking that man out. Your wife was married to you, and she willingly cheated. If every wife slept with a man who hits on her, this place would be the most popular subreddit. He'll provide no answers to ease the pain. In fact, you'll experience the opposite. It's already been done. You know how you feel. If you want to stay with your wife, you'll need more than just an apology. I hope therapy helps, but it sounds like you'll carry the trauma from this for a long time. The affair was the start of something, not the end. Trying to heal will be just as hard as D-Day. I wish you the best. We all don't get second chances, but some of us will never want one. 2. Seeking the other man out will not go well and could end up with you getting arrested or hurt. Terrible idea. Either move on with her or without her. That's the only choice you have control over. 3. My condolences, man. She doesn't regret our life and marriage because it is more than she could have ever asked for. Well, apparently that isn't true. She definitely asked for more. And, despite knowing how wrong it was, did it, repeatedly, anyway. Remember, she chose to cover it up and continue even after you stumbled on direct, unambiguous evidence. That didn't make her realize what was more important to her. That didn't make her regret that she was actively asking for more than your marriage. She knew her husband saw inappropriate messages. No problem. I'll tell him to stop. Phew, my husband believed me. Now where were we? I can see she clearly hates herself for what she did, but I am torn about all this. She waited until she was caught and could no longer control the information. She made a deal with your daughter to keep it away from you in exchange for stopping. How is this hating herself? This is about as self-centered as someone can get. My guess is that she really hates that she got caught, and now she hates the fact that she has to pay a price for being caught. Her price was self-inflicted, and she only has to pay it because she got sloppy. In her mind, she would have been fine taking this to the grave with her, and she wouldn't have stopped any time soon if she could have kept it going. The whole she realized what was important was only a thought process she was forced to go down when your daughter found out. And, even then, she didn't come clean. She tried to bury it even then. Sorry, I have zero sympathy for her. Her accident doesn't change that. And her potential medical condition doesn't change that either. I'm just not buying any of the garbage about how much she hates herself because it sounds like she is the only person important to her. Her new reality takes her basically completely out of the relationship market. You're all she has left. Who wouldn't be sorry and regretful at that point? Remember, according to her, you dim her lights. 4. I hope things get better. I can assure that you will find someone better. Everybody does? Your wife didn't tell you. Your daughter did. If your daughter had not told you, how long do you think your wife would have kept the secret? I hope you realize that you're a great man and you deserve the best. 5. Please don't be upset with yourself. Your anger is completely totally justified. Your wife seems to think that making it up to you means being a better wife without actually having to come clean about it. Some things to explore in therapy would be why she felt the need to not come clean, and why she let your daughter bear the awful burden she did. As for what you need, has she completely come clean with the details of the affair? As in, it started with flirting for a month and it was physical for 3 months. We had sex 10 times. Are those the types of details you need? Or is it just the fact that she was with another man that is enough for you to know? Think about what information you will need. And respectfully, your wife did nothing other than just try to be the wife she should have been all along. She didn't come clean. She didn't go to therapy to find out what led her to cheat. She didn't help your daughter. She robbed you of the information you needed to make a decision about your life. She has just thrown herself a non-stop pity party. Yes, the things she has been through with the accident and the potential tumor are terrible, but you need to make a choice independent of her condition. It's time to put yourself and your healing first. As someone else mentioned, she should have a settlement, or should be receiving a settlement, as a result of the accident. Ostensibly, that would be enough for her to obtain some assistance with her daily living activities.